Yeah, I was just getting, actually, I don't know, a few months ago, how the self-love is directly related to creating what you want in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, creating a happier life. I mean, the more you love yourself, it just automatically seems to happen.
Yeah.
You just start getting more of the juice, more of the vitality, more of the beauty, the love, everything.
Yeah, and this is not a narcissism kind of thing, or see, when all of the terms that we use, let's say self-love, you always put the word authentic in front of it. So it's a function of your true nature, however you would define it, as opposed to your ego, as opposed to your identity. Now, if you set an ego up there and talk about self-love, what are you going to get? You know, you're going to get a puffed up ego. So, but if you talk about a genuine, true self, and you talk about self-love, then you're shading into, you know, divinity and deity and the kind of love that really does move mountains, whether it's yourself or others. So here, when we use those phrases, again, it's authentic versus identified, and authentic versus egoic, and these kinds of things. And when you swing into authentic self-love, your life spirals upward wonderfully.
Yeah, that's been exactly my experience. And the relationship, the kind of relationships, the kind of sex that I'm receiving. I mean, it's the pleasure, the happiness, everything has, right now, so off the charts. I can't even describe it. It's so amazing. So fucking amazing. Yeah.
See, just like, you know, we had $100,000 in one day. Now, what do you think the sexual equivalent of that would be? You know, in a genuine, wonderful, truthful way. What do you think it would be? Now,
it's,
you know,
beyond my wildest dreams.
You can use your imagination, but so you can get to a place of true magnificence in your life's experience, and that's the point of the whole thing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're sharing. And when it gets so great, you just naturally want to go, hey, you got to do this too. It's too fantastic not to, you know. And so you naturally want to share it with the people you love also.
And I guess the last thing I'd like to share, well, maybe not the last thing, but the next thing I'd like to share is that this work that you do and our relationship, you know, our relationship has gone through a whole bunch of different transformations. And I know that for a long time I saw you as a teacher and I followed you. I mean, you know, it was kind of, I guess you could say, putting you on a pedestal or having you play a role. I guess that would probably be more accurate for me. And I think it was appropriate when it happened. Yeah. But I think the important thing to understand also, and you said this earlier when you're talking about guru or defining guru, that one of the things you want to do is empower people to find their own path. Really. And
no longer follow a master, but become one.
Exactly.
You know,
And so the very last 10 day that I was in of yours, there were 3 of us, my partner at the time, and Angelica, and I, like the second to the last day of the course, we just got that we had graduated. And so we actually skipped whatever was happening at the course and went and had our own ceremony, our own graduation ceremony. And it was so powerful, so great to just know, you know, and that's one of the things that I've learned from you is this whole thing around Ladihan, which you can probably describe. But this knowingness, you know, this inner guidance saying, you're done. Greg is no longer your teacher. And what happened after that was that, you know, I would call Greg and we'd talk like buddies over the phone and share. But I never asked for advice. I never needed anything from Greg. I felt like there was absolutely no need. I had nothing that I needed from Greg. That he was just a friend and we just were buddies.
Yeah, and I want you to get this like for real. Because I think that can happen in some good situations, but the important thing is as John or others become graduated, it's not just a sort of a decision of equality or a concept of peer. Because in my experience, what happens is they become somebody, oh, I listen to. See, it's like, oh, okay. And so then I hang on their words and I want to know what they're creating in their life. And it's just as fresh and magnificent and delightful and new as anything I said prior. So it's the experience is very, very, very genuine. And the test of its genuineness is my own interest in them. Because it's easy to be go into the condescending mode. Yeah, we're brothers now, I don't have any more to teach you. We're equal. And while you can say that, and there are situations I won't detract from whatever experiences people have about that are wonderful. But the acid test, if you will, is, do I listen to him in the same way that he would have listened or did listen to me, or we now listen to someone else? Because everyone has contact with inner guidance, and everyone has contact with truth or the divinity within or the inner potential. And when they access that and they start to share that, we're as riveted and interested in their point of view coming from the oneness, the true oneness of the universal of all that is. And this is their window of it, and that is just as unique and fresh and glorious and interesting and exciting as mine. So I just want to have that be where it really is, and it's a sharing for me to, I can't wait for those things, because I see what's going to come out of this person as they connect to their true creativity and their true, I'm going to have just as much fun with it and just be just as delightful. And so it becomes, for lack of a better word, it becomes a peer association in fact, in reality, because the giving and the receiving from two connected people, connected to source, connected to oneness, connected to all that is, whatever words you use, the giving and receiving of two people connected to the source has to be unique and fresh and interesting and exciting and delightful for both at all times. And that would be sort of how we might define the graduation or their arrival at peership.
Yeah, and it was a process. It wasn't like the graduation was it. It was a process for me of gradually, step by step, doing things on my own, following my own inner guidance, not asking for help from anyone, just really doing it myself and using all the tools and technology that you had shared with me, and really using it for myself in my own way. So I developed my own style, my own way of moving energy and setting intentions, and it was very empowering, and I got that I am a master, or I'm on my way to mastery. I guess just more power is the only thing.
Yeah, and by the way, in terms of the word power, we define that as simply getting what you want. The people with more power really just get more of what they want. People with less power really just get less of what they want. And so the word power doesn't mean coercion or force or manipulation or strategies or authority or telling somebody what to do. It's actually very similar to the scientific or mathematical definition of horsepower. It just does work. And the work is in service to your own desire and your own intentions. So when you get, the more power you get, the more you're able to serve your own desires and intention like horsepower, and the more you get what you want. And of course, the happier you become.